Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grand Prix here at Dreamhack. I'm Raven, and joining me to bring you round 8 of the Swiss is going to be Life Coach and Froden again.
Yo.
And yeah, we're getting to round 8 now, so there's only this round, one more round after that left, and we're going to very shortly find out who are going to be the top 16 players.
Yeah, you know, this round 16 is what people are really gunning for. Remember that this event also awards not just prize money and prestige, but also HCT points for 2017. It's the first official major. And this year, we're going to have top 16 get points. So for them, it's also really important to get that to start gearing for the playoffs. Because I know, for example, some players, they got eliminated from the tournament already. They're starting to ladder. They're starting to play a lot and grind because they want to get those points.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like, top 16, even just 2 points is actually a huge bumper when you're actually racing for the winter season, because it's a 2 points that almost no one else is going to be able to even get because it is from the major, of course. But we can actually check out the standings now and see where everyone's up to and who's really fighting for those spots into the top 16. As you can see there, JJ, not a surprise. He says 7-0.
Yeah.
Doing it again.
I told JJ he has to be careful, because if he wins too much, he's just going to lose in the playoffs. That's just how it happens. If you go undefeated, historically, the person who goes undefeated in Swiss loses in the first round of the playoffs. So he's like, oh, yeah, of course, I'll lose my next game.
Yeah, and a shout out as well to someone we've not really mentioned too much, is that Nick Slay, who is actually one of the HCT performers, and he's not done too much really, you know, sticking out in tournaments since then, but he's actually doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, a handful of players who have also gone 6-1. I know most, if not all, those names, so I feel like I've seen a lot of those players who've been competitive. Maybe they're not popular streamers, maybe they're not necessarily the familiar faces from HCT, but they've been competing for a while, and so there's definitely some killers remaining in the tournament.
Yeah, Life Coach, are you surprised by any of the people who are like looking in contention for those top 16 spots?
Yeah, I mean, we will also see the match now from Xixo versus StanCifka, and StanCifka basically opened with a whooping 5-0, then losing 2 matches, and now he's really at borderlines to maybe even just dump out of the tournament after this round. So I'm really excited to watch this series.
Yeah, it's going to be the Xixo versus StanCifka match, and both of these players and both of the series we've got coming up are going to be elimination matches again, because as the players win more, players like JJ we've already seen on stream as well, but these players are looking very likely to be in top 16, so we are going to see them on stream later today or tomorrow, you know, at least. So it's looking really good, and we're going to see the difference in strategies, which we've discussed quite a lot from Xixo and StanCifka. Obviously, StanCifka and Pokrovac being the 2 players who have most notably brought the ban Shaman strategy, or the not banned Shaman strategy, shall I say, whereas Xixo bringing a much more standard lineup.
Yeah, you know, we're starting to see whether or not Cifka's strategy is working out. He's the one bringing the unconventional Reno Warlock. He was doing so well with it, 5-0, originally starting off the tournament. And 5-0 in a lot of tournaments is actually enough to get you to the semifinals.
Yeah, that's actually most of any average tournament.
Yeah, it's like you go really far in a tournament. So, you know, Cifka losing here would be quite the anticlimactic end to his journey, I feel like. And so I'm kind of rooting for him, even though I know Xixo doing well also makes a lot of sense. But I love seeing Reno Lock, so I want to see more of it.
Yeah, I love watching StanCifka play in general, because he seems to view the game in a way that most people just don't. Just making plays, and there's always great reasons for them, but sometimes, you know, it's a little bit difficult to understand them initially.
Yeah.
And then when you see the game play out, it's like, oh, okay, this actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. And I think he's known mostly for bringing not so much too crazy strategies, but including his very own style in every deck he plays. Like, I remember, you know, a while ago now that he was playing like Control Warrior, and then you just see Iron Beak Owl in the deck, just out of nowhere, just to be like, yeah, I just like silence, so I'm just going to drop it in there. Do you think it's going to be enough to carry StanCifka through this matchup, Life Coach?
But not for 3 mana.
No. It was, yeah, like I said, it was a long time ago when it wasn't 3 mana pre-nerf. Well, it looks like we're getting into the game now, so they are going to be ready. StanCifka versus Xixo, Life Coach and Froden. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Raven.
All right, Druid versus N'Zoth Warrior. Now, this N'Zoth Warrior has really gotten a lot of popularity recently. Can you explain how this matchup works? Because I know Druid has struggled a little bit against warriors of all kinds. Do you think N'Zoth Warrior is better than normal, like Cthulhu Warriors, or do you think it's worse?
I would compare the Nezot Warrior probably with the old version of the Control Warrior, just having this option within Nezot, so basically having also kind of a game closer. I mean, if you play Nezot, you get all these Death Red minions back, you're probably in a very, very good shape to close this game down. So you don't give the Druid too much time to pull their Maligos into a lot of Moonfires or into Living Roots, while it also has to be mentioned that Stan is known for playing the Druid without the Maligos to basically counter also the Shaman a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. Stan has a snowball, or oh, I messed it up, man.
Snowballed.
No, a frigid
yeah.
snowball. Not just any snowball, an extra chilly one.
Ah, right, yeah, that's right.
4 mana, 2/6 that gives +1 spell damage. And he replaced that with Malygos straight up. And it's much better for tempo early on in the game. I'm not sure. Apparently, they were doing really well with it. And then I was watching Firebat climb the ladder, and he's like, yeah, I haven't lost yet with it. I was like, all right, well, it seems like a pretty good deck.
Yeah, I mean, Stan also has this bet at the very moment, so that he has to color his hair if he doesn't achieve the 70% with this Snowball Druid on the ladder. And he's doing a very, very good job, so I think he's 72% at the moment, so that's awesome.
Oh, some interesting choices here. Chooses Bloodsail Corsair because it ends up being text against weapons. Probably one of the better choices. Other cards will take a very situational use, like Moat Lurker.
I mean, we can also see Xixo just not being able to handle this Fenrir, so this game could be very well over very quickly. I mean, seeing the Nourish already coming down next turn.
Yeah, you can see Xixo smiling.
Well played.
Yeah, because he says, you know, StanCifka had Wild Growth into the Fandral, but this is what Warrior does sometimes. They're just too slow.
Nourish into Power of the Wild. Look at this. Oh my god, is that strong.
It's pretty gross. I think you just run away with the game at this point. And he's also killing all of his armor, so even if he was able to draw a Shield Slam, now he can't really do anything.
This is just insane. I mean, maybe the Brawl could save Xixo if the 1-1 really survives, but other than that, it looks really, really bleak. Oh, he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, just trying to kill Fandral is the priority here. Okay.
Okay.
Not the average result.
Yeah. Yep. Fair and square. No RNG involved.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely none. That's a really full hand from Druid. Couldn't pick pretty much any way he wants to remove this. Playing Ragnaros is also a really powerful option. If it kills off that 5/5, Xixo still doesn't have a way to remove it.
Oh. I mean, Stan knows that Xixo had problems handling this Fenrir stack him, so why not just concede here and now?
Okay. Very Xixo thing of him to do.
Okay. He didn't want to get through the torture of like playing another 10 turns or 5 turns.
Yeah, precisely. He doesn't. He saves himself from the tilt.
Yeah, maybe.
Xixo does tilt from time to time. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah, so you know that's maybe another strategy that you can do, because you know StanCifka also plays pretty slow. Stan likes to rope a lot.
Right.
So if you're just gonna save your mental energy rather than going through the hoops, just go ahead and just concede and go into the next game. Which, if he has Zoo Warlock, I'm curious to see how it does against this Frigid Snowball build, which also has Auctioneer, which I like it. Auctioneer definitely gives relevance to things like Moonfire a lot more. If you're going to take Malygos out, then it feels like Moonfire loses a lot of power.
Yeah.
But if you have Auctioneer, it kind of makes up for that difference a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's also the idea of this deck, that it can actually do something against aggro, because it doesn't play those clunky minions which do nothing, for example, the Malygos.
Ah.
Okay.
So, StanCifka, what are the mulligans that you're truly looking for? Is it the Innervate? Because he threw away Living Roots on turn 1. Looking really hard for that Innervate, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's Innervate, maybe Sunbite Growth, but yeah, I'm also a little bit surprised that he threw away the Living Roots first to act.
Because he knew he would get the second one.
Oh yeah.
Because if he kept that, he would have had 2 Living Roots, and that would have been awkward.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I mean, even against Zoo, I'm not even sure whether you're so sad if you have 1 Living Roots to open the minions and then 1 for the Flame Imp, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's also a possibility.
Ooh, the Soulfire, that's strong. Maybe for later, but yeah.
I mean, already this is probably one of the strongest openings that you can have with the Zoo Warlock. But StanCifka did pick up the Innervate, which is important to help swing the board. Without Innervate, Drew just gets bullied. And, you know, someone actually asked me at this tournament, have you seen a single Druid beat Zoo this tournament? It just feels like Zoo has Druid's number, like, 100% so far.
Yeah, okay. No, it's probably true that Zoo has a very upper hand on Druid. I mean, JJ and me, we tested the matchup also a lot, and we're coming up with something like 40-60 maybe. So, yeah, it's really not a good matchup for sure.
I don't stand really thinking hard. I definitely feel like killing the Flame Imp is one of the most important things, given the fact of how Demon Fire punishes you. But I guess StanCifka is really calculating his future turns if he wants to use Innervate now or later.
I mean, even this Librarian, I don't think that you can really afford to just throw away the Innervate, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Living Roots coming down on the Flame Imp, but the Librarian will punish that so hard. I mean, not that Stan can do anything about it, but it's just so insane, this Darkshire Librarian in this very situation.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much what Stan has to do. And when Xixo plays the Darkshire Librarian, oh my God. Goodness.
1 in his 3, 1 in his 3, 4. Oh my God, is that, oh whoa, is this a second imp?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you play that and the second Librarian and then draw 2 cards, assuming it survives.
And you get a 3/3 for free.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, assuming the next card you draw doesn't get discarded instead.
That's true, yeah, it will be a 50-50. Oh my, okay. So he doesn't, Stan decides not to Feral Rage this imp, and now it's just insane.
Yep.
Drawing 2 cards. If you really discard the Golem, getting another 3/3, it's so strong.
Okay. I don't know if Demon Fire changes it. It's still a very powerful play to be able to cycle this aggressively. Oh. That's pretty unfortunate, I guess. The Silverware Golem just doesn't want to come out and play.
Nope.
He's shy.
But I mean, with the Zoo having drawn so many cards just like this, it definitely doesn't look very good for Stan in this very situation.
Although it's not that much pressure right now, and with Arcane Giants in the hand, maybe Cifka can find a way to eventually swing the board. So I always feel like Druid just needs time because they'll eventually win. And Xixo doesn't exactly have, like, you know, the Doom Guard, and he hasn't summoned the Silverware Golem. So I feel like there's still a chance for Cifka here.
Yeah, I definitely think that you're right. If the Arcane Giant hits the board, they might have a chance to swing back the board. But they are still costing 8 mana at the very moment, so it will probably be some kind of time until we will see them.
Yeah, I mean, he can Innervate out 1 next turn, but that's his entire turn. He's going to have to hope that 8/8 can handle the onslaught of small minions.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 damage now, 4 damage next turn, so he might think, okay, my Giants are dead anyway, so why not just play them? But they are really not having that much of a board to impact at the very moment of the game. Oh, if Swipe gets drawn. That's super important.
Yeah, so that way he can help control the state of the board a little bit and then not have to worry about all the small little things.
That's right. I mean, Swipe being probably the very most important card in this very matchup, and having drawn 2 of those is really insane, especially because Xixo will definitely not play around the second Swipe here. I'm just going for it.
Well, it's not even that, like, Swipe is amazing against the board. It's just it's got a lot of awkward health, and if he plays Defender this turn, then it's even more awkward. And yeah, I mean, there's a Thanos, I think, in the deck, so perhaps the Thanos Swipe would be devastating, but you certainly don't play around that odds at all.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, by turn 8, Stan will have the option to play Frigid Snowball into Swipe, but...
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. Just getting to see use out of cards that don't normally get played at all. Let's say, does the Wrath change anything? I guess you could set up a slightly better Swipe that way.
Yeah, I guess maybe Stan evaluates the Feral Rage at the very moment, but I also think that probably Swipe Wrath, maybe cycling the Wrath first. What's the best here?
Yeah, that's true. Because then if you cycle the Wrath, you could then use Feral Rage in case you want to keep it if you pick up a good spell damage minion. Like, say you pick up Thanos then. Let's see, and then if you use 2 spells now, Giant becomes 5 mana. So next turn you have 7. I still can't swipe Giant. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, on the other hand, you can, if you play Wrath and Swipe now, Feral Rage Giant, so probably that's what he wants to do.
Okay, I like that. So cycle for a card.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, Wild Growth is a dead card in his hand. Just doing nothing.
Yeah, and one of the values you can have with Wild Growth, though, is Auctioneer. Doesn't have it, though. And you have to wait till 10 mana.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little bit of a long shot.
Yeah. 5 power on the board currently, so not enough to trade into the Giant, but doesn't really have an incentive to. You can just go all face. And now with 2 swipes being used, how do you really come back against this kind of board? But like we mentioned, swipe wasn't even that good against what Xixo had.
I guess Raven Idol into Starfall is the only way. Probably.
Yeah, that's possible. Oh, Living Roots, not that bad of a scenario here. So now he can do the same thing. He can play Living Roots, Feral Rage, and the Arcane Giant, number 2.
Okay, what would you do? Play the Feral Rage to kill the Imp Gang? Because I'm not even sure whether he needs it to gain armor.
Yeah, I like it. And that's 2 Giants. That's really hard to deal with. Well, I guess he could kill one of them, but the other Giant's pretty big.
So, okay. So he plays Giant, Shapeshift, yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. He wants to conceal the information that he has this 8 armor, and Demon Boss is effectively only dealing 2 damage every turn, so if you really use the Feral Rage for attack here, you also take 2. So that makes the armor up better if the Imp Boss doesn't hit you 5 times in the face, and that's rather unlikely. But this is just insane again.
Yeah, this is one of those huge swings we're talking about. Has an opportunity to life tap with it too. Voidwalker, really annoying, stops the Giant from being able to kill off some of these higher targets, important targets.
Yeah, and Stan really, I mean, really bad on board, having very few life and not even the cards in the hand. So it looks really, really bleak. To him, there is a Baron Geddon coming down into his hand. Doesn't help though.
Well, it clears off the Knife Juggler and the Defender of Argus, so that leaves 6 power on the board. So if you leave 6 power on the board, you deal 2 to yourself. You're at 9. I don't know. It's a pretty dicey situation. Oh wait, maybe
is it like 7 power? No, what? Let's see.
So you play Baron Geddon, you kill the 1/3.
Oh, you kill. Okay, you kill it. So then it's 6. But you also get a Knife juggled under, right? So it will be very expensive. You go to 9, you go to 3, maybe to 2.
It could be bad, but I mean, you also have 15 power on the board in your opponent, so it's like maybe it's an opportunity for you to cheese your opponent if they don't have lethal. Oh.
Exactly. Or even one off.
Yeah. So being able to kill his opponent this turn and end the game. So, but this is kind of what we expected. It'd be actually a huge upset if Druid was able to beat the Zoo.
That's right, but it was actually, I mean, there was the one turn where Stan decided to shapeshift instead of giving himself 8 armor, and we discussed about the possibility of just getting these 7 additional armor, and in this very case it would have at least led to 1 turn more survival, but I mean, probably he would have lost the turn after, I guess.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. I mean, he had a lot of damage on the board and Baron Geddon active, right?
Yeah.
So he could have definitely top-decked something, that's for sure.
I think that that could have definitely changed the outcome, but, well, pass is the pass. Game 3 is Dragon Warrior. Now, remember, Dragon Warrior was brought specifically to kill Zoo.
Yep.
And it's so far worked out for a lot of people. Skaka mentioned that he feels like this is actually a very hard matchup to play from the Dragon Warrior's perspective. There's a lot of ways you can mess up.
Yep. Definitely agree there. I think in this Dragon Warrior against the Zoo matchup, the most important thing is to time your resources. Oh man, that was an insanely good draw. But time your resources, especially the Ravaging Ghoul resources. So you don't want to play the Ravaging Ghoul for a little bit of value. You want to wait until turn 5, turn 6, 7, and then get the maximum value out of it. This is just insane. I mean, Zoo will get completely demolished here. At least it seems like it.
Fire War Axe and the Dragon's Champion.
Okay, so...
Well, Bloodseeker Fire War Axe still leaves behind 2 1/1s. So not exactly... That is actually one of the better answers to the scenario.
Oh yeah, definitely is. I wouldn't be surprised if I would see Blood to Ichor on the Imp boss, the 3-2 trading into the 1-1 and then Fiery War Axe with no hit.
Oh, just don't actually attack.
Yeah. Well, maybe he does, because otherwise the Imp boss can also trade in the 2-2.
Yeah.
So probably he does.
I'm thinking about it more. I actually kind of like it, equipping Fire War Axe just to not attack. How do you get punished for it, if at all?
Well, I mean, the 2-3 Imp boss trading into your 2-2 is probably already punished enough, so you just do that.
Yeah, probably.
And I also really like the attack, because you're otherwise vulnerable to Wolf.
Oh, which he did end up drawing. So 6-0 from this position. Probably just going to search for a card he can play here.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's very difficult for him. I mean, Power Overwhelming, he really wants to trade this 1-1 into this 3-1, so Power Overwhelming not really doing much. Xixo at this very board state can also not expect to be ahead on the board at any point of the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if he would just take the Worgen. Yeah,
Worgen's actually not bad to play in this spot either, just straight up. Your opponent playing Ravaging Ghoul is not exactly the most amazing thing playing off curve. This is actually what you're kind of afraid of. The 3-6 coming down, and that means you're not getting through that easily at all without Soulfire. And another Fiery War Axe. StanCifka pretty much drew the nuts.
Oh yeah, you can bet. Especially also with his Dragon Draw, and now he got access to Blackwing Corruptor. It's just insane. I mean, even if this comes down with the Ghoul...
No, he gets
which
it.
It does, yeah.
That's
with
pretty big.
It's pretty big, yeah. But I'm not even sure whether this will be enough.
Yeah, because Blackwing Corruptor is insane.
Oh yes.
Easy 3-2 trade with the little slime. And from that point on, you still have Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, I also think that Dragon Warrior definitely has the upper hand here. Also getting all the beneficial trades. I mean, that's the thing about Zoo, right? Zoo is ahead on board. Zoo can basically manipulate all the trades in their favor, also getting these snowball cards. But if you are behind on board with Zoo, it's just very, very, a very, very bad situation.
Oh, does Power Overwhelming change anything? I mean, you get a much better trade with the Worgen Infiltrator, and then you can Direwolf Alpha trade into the 5-4.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Yeah.
And then you get to draw a card as well.
It's insane.
Yeah, that was
absolutely insane.
Pretty much exactly what he needed at that point. And all of a sudden, maybe Zoo's able to get ahead onto the board now because no value trades were taken on Cifka's side with his mid-sized minions.
Oh, that's also such a strong card in the slot first man. I mean, not exactly doing anything here, but this weapon will prove very, very helpful in the future of this match.
Certainly. And if not, even just the 1-1 too can help challenge things. It sets up for Ravaging Ghoul, helps you get that extra damage in.
Yeah, something to mention is also that sometimes Zoo can also try to fatigue or exhaust the Dragon Warrior, so the Dragon Warrior runs out of cards, but obviously with Stan having drawn two both Azudrakes, that won't happen.
Is Stan running the Curator version?
Yes.
Dragon
Yes.
Okay. So that means he also has additional card draw in case he picks it up.
Yeah, or the Murloc for also 37% on the life tap, so I don't think Stan will fatigue or exhaust very quickly here. Soulfire draw. It's good.
Yeah, being able to get a clean kill and then force your opponent to have to deal with the Darkshock Councilman with some pretty weak minions there. What's the downside of using Soulfire here? I guess, are you exposing yourself too much to Ravaging Ghoul if you do that?
I just think that Xixo sees the 1-1 weapon and he really doesn't want that his wolf simply becomes eaten by this 1-1 or 1-2 weapon, sorry. Yeah. So he decides to trade the wolf away so that the weapon doesn't get maximal value. But I guess he cannot really prevent it. I mean, the weapon will always get value. So, yeah, I mean, Stan could play Dragon into Slam and double trade if he wants. I mean, looks juicy.
Yeah.
Like double trade into the Councilman, I mean.
Right, the Councilman can get killed that way, and you're not taking that much damage from it. Still have a weapon. That sets up the Fire War Axe and the Frothy Berserker for next turn. So I think that's pretty strong. I don't like leaving Darkshock Councilman on the board because it can grow too much. So I think it's definitely one of the stronger options. Oh wow!
Wow, there's a Curator.
It's a massively important draw.
Yeah. I mean, also about the spell power option. I mean, you don't really have that many spell powered spells in your deck, so why not just use them if you get them?
Followed by an awkward draw of Sir Finley, so the Curator has less importance.
I mean, it's also not bad that the Curator also gives you access to these monkeys. I mean, by playing the Curator, you already know that you will also have the ability to taunt up the next turn as well, and that's pretty huge.
Well, a very awkward draw here from Xixo. He gets Doomguard with the Soulfire. He was very much playing the Soulfire and then life tap is something else and not have to risk discarding the Doomguard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Doomguard here is still very strong. How does the Drake punish you? There's not many spell power things in the Dragon Warrior, so I don't feel like it's that bad to ignore it if you want to start pressuring your opponent.
No, probably he can just go face. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, Cifka needs to stabilize, and Curator can help him draw cards. The Curator being played here is more just for the taunt body, because you just need to stop taking damage.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely agreed. So the other option would be probably Armor Up, Frozen Berserker, Fairy Dragon, and Sir Finlay. Not sure how they compare with each other. I also agree that the taunt body is pretty important on board.
But it just dies to the Doom Guard, unfortunately.
Yep.
And you're not, I mean, you're not really developing that much behind the Curator. At best, it's just Finlay. So it becomes a 5-3. Yeah, it's a little bit too awkward, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind that as well. I mean, you get the Frozen Berserker being a 5-4, and the 5-4 will then very easily able to contest the Doom Guard. So, yeah, definitely okay with this play for sure.
Okay. Does he play? Does he Hero Power, or he plays one of the 2-card mana cards? It'd be so super surprising if he didn't play the Fairy Dragon in that position, because he wants to just get board presence as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Stan also knows there are 6 damage missing, not 5, and he probably, I mean, manipulated it kind of the way. I mean, maybe if there would only have been 5 damage missing, he would have played the Curator, but because he knows Xixo needs 6 more damage, it's basically impossible to do that.
Frozen Berserker is really annoying now because of how much it can grow in potential, so I definitely feel like killing it is really important. And all of a sudden, Trade's going down, hoping that he can grind his opponent out of the game. But that's not going to be really the case here. With Fire Warwick and Courier, that is going to be very swingy.
Ooh, a ghoul, that's very important. I mean, for the future, Maybe this turn will still be Fiery Warwick and Curator, trade the Fairy Dragon in the 5-2 and killing the Wolf. But just for the future, Ravaging Ghoul is always very strong against you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And Curator being able to draw into even more plays too.
Oh yeah, it also lines perfectly into the Imgang. So that's also something to mention.
Oh no, Xixo looking for answers, and that's not really going to be what he needs.
Oh, that were probably the 2 worst cards in his entire deck. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, even if he drew Doomguard too, it'd be a little bit awkward bumping into this 4-6 now.
That's right.
So it's not even like it would have been that amazing. And if Cifka starts picking up some of his power cards...
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, now he can set up a 9-9.
It's pretty convenient. I mean, he will probably hit the Voidwalker, maybe even with a weapon, and then the Curator, maybe even in the Flame Imp, and setting up this 9-9 for next turn lethal.
Yeah, I like it. Stay your opponent at a 15, play the Twilight Guardian.
Yeah, or just both face. Yeah.
And the Draconoid Crusher, and that's pretty much checkmate. I don't really think Xixo can do anything from this position. He took too long to get to the point. Soulfire, not enough. I guess he needs to get Doomguard or some kind of Defender Vargas. Not going to be enough. Game 3 goes to StanCifka. And remember, this is an elimination match, so Xixo dropping the series here would mean he is out of the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we also know that Xixo will now queue the Shaman to fight against the Dragon Warrior, and yeah, that's a very equal matchup. So I'm really curious how this will go.
Yeah. So then that means that the Shaman, if it beats the Dragon Warrior, means that he brings his Reno Warlock to fight against the Shaman, which is what he also wants.
That's
so
right.
It goes into StanCifka's favor, at least from this point of view.
Yeah, Stan already leading to 1, and yeah, there's really a lot on the line here, so it will really depend on also on the draws, but also if some of these players will become nervous, that will also influence a lot. Oh, actually Stan giving away the Ghoul. Yeah, I was just surprised, because the Ghoul is a very, very strong tool against the Shaman. I would always keep that.
Oh, well, he's reconsidering.
I mean, it's borderline, but it can be strong, so...
Does it change on the coin?
No, I think it's fine.
You know, when it's really interesting that when Dragon Warrior first came out, it was actually because it killed Aggro Shaman. Now when Mid-Range Shaman became popular, it's no longer good. It's super funny to me, I think, because people were always saying how Dragon Warrior was so good against Shaman, now it's so afraid of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That The reasoning behind that is that it's now more mid-ranges, so I guess the Dragon Warrior is just a very, very fast deck, also with his weapons. Usually has the ability to always get on board first, even against some kind of an aggro shaman, which meant in the past that you went on board, maybe you were equalized on board, but then at some point aggro shaman just went out of resource and you won that game. But in this case, well, if it's only equalized, mid-range shaman will outvalue you at some point, and that's what you're very afraid of.
That Frothing Berserker is getting out of control until he hexes it. I completely agree, because if he didn't deal with it, it would have been really bad news.
Oh yeah. There is a dragon, and that was so important, because that just enables this Alex Roster champion, and it's so important that this hits the board. Warlock hero ability would be insane. No. So, would you take the lesser heal to heal your minions?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't really like the Paladin hero power because they have Maelstrom Portal.
Yeah.
So I probably favor that one. And I mean, you already have the Rogue hero power and the Zos first mate for the next 4 turns at least.
Yes.
So I think the lesser heal is definitely better for the immediate and the long term. Oh, interesting.
That's really surprising, because the priest hero power is also protecting you from these AoEs, right? There are these threatening AoEs, and Shaman usually wants to set them up as well. So they also sometimes just damage your minions to be able to AoE the next turn, and then you can just lesser heal. But yeah, let's see how this goes.
I think maybe he feels like his hand is a little bit weak.
Yep.
So he needs to actually put more board pressure, and that's what helps him do that.
Yeah, especially if he doesn't draw something for the next turn, right? Then he can immediately produce this 1/1. But as you already mentioned, I mean, there are those AoEs in the Shaman, and yeah, they are usually wreaking havoc, especially against these poor 1/1s.
So Xixo finally has an opportunity to start loading board himself with the Tunnel Trog and the Feral Spirits. It does get eaten up, though, by the board immediately. But if his opponent doesn't have a strong turn on the following swing, then he has an opportunity to start having this Tunnel Trog run away with the game. Because look, if StanCifka chooses to play a little bit wide, like he uses Blood to Ichor or he plays in the Zos first mate, that's very vulnerable to a Maelstrom Portal next turn.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, what is he supposed to play, right? I mean, the Blood to Ichor will definitely come down, and then, well, maybe even the first mate. So let's see about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate the first mate being played either, because you want to start getting out this 1-mana cards, considering that you have 5 and 6 next turn.
Yep.
And it fits so well with your hero power as well. But the bad news is that it's directly into Lightning Storm.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Stan probably just evaluates the likelihood of Xixo having Maelstrom or Lightning Storm. And he would probably not be that afraid of Lightning Storm, because Lightning Storm also overloads. So he's probably thinking, okay, Maelstrom or not. And I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he would play the first mate.
Well, it feels like even if he didn't play it, Xixo knows he has it, because it took so long with 1 mana remaining, having all the attacks being done.
True.
So it's like, you know, when you pause and hesitate, you give opening for your hand to be read.
True. I mean, that's very important. That's a very interesting turn, because Shaman usually doesn't have access to 4 mana turns. So the Lightning Storm basically going again into the 4 mana turn, but I guess you can do that if you also have access to Maelstrom in your hand.
So if he Lightning Storms, it only really means that the Finley survives or not. I don't know if it's that impactful, though, right now, given the context that we know each other's hands.
Yeah, I mean, the Maelstrom basically also means that you will lose your Trog on the other hand, so it's probably a close call.
Yeah, I mean, I think I favor the Maelstrom Portal, because the overload is just too much, I think. Being on 4 mana the following turn means you play Mana Tide Totem or Hero Power Maelstrom Portal. It's really weak.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Would you take a value trade here on any of the minions?
Interesting. Probably. I mean, the Warrior is still at 28. You know his hero power already, which is the Paladin hero power. I don't think that you should raise as a Shaman. I think you just take the value trade. I guess Xixo is just evaluating which one. Yeah.
I guess that makes him less... Like, if the opponent has Ravaging Ghoul, then he loses everything. So I think that's more fair. And, you know, StanCifka is able to win the early game board. And that's where Shaman's definitely not at its greatest. It's more about setup for Shaman.
That's right. I mean, we also see that Xixo has a kind of very slow hand with a lot of late game, and that obviously tremendously beneficials the Warrior. We also don't see any kind of hex in Xixo's hand.
Wow.
And if this 9-9 will come down, this is insane, right? Yeah, that's insane.
That was crazy good draw. Slam for 3 damage because they attribute expel damage. And now Dragon Warriors put on the pressure so that way he can set up this huge Draconoid Crusher.
Oh, Spirit Claws just a little bit too late. Would have used, you really needed that like 4 or 5 turns ago. I mean, the thing about this no hex is if the 9-9 Draconoid Crusher just hits the board, I mean, that will be just devastating for Xixo, because not being able to handling a 9-9 is basically the game over for Shaman.
Then what choice does he have here? He has the ability to try to Lightning Storm the board down with Blood Mage Thanos, but that's not really that consistent.
I wouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. Yeah.
Guaranteed Flame Strike.
But there is a 9-9, which will come down now, just because of this 1-1 little weapon charge.
Oh, you're right. The little Rusty Hook. Grab him. Scrape him in the face.
Yeah,
9-9.
he's going for it, yeah.
I like it.
I mean,
And
this is insane, because Sen is just hoping for this no hex. I mean, he doesn't know that there is no hex in Xixo's hand, but he just hopes, and he gets rewarded for this hope.
I mean, he's seen one already, so it's unlikely that he has a second one.
That's right.
Alright, well, this Barnes summon.
Ooh, not a too bad one.
Yeah, not too bad. Not the greatest. I'm kind of curious why Xixo just didn't maybe try to fish for the hex. He could have also traded his Thanos to do that first before the Barnes.
Yeah, that's right.
But I guess in this point, he just felt like he wanted to use Barnes and put pressure back on his opponent. That Taunt Totem is pretty valuable too if his opponent didn't have a weapon.
Okay, that's interesting though, whether you go for Grom or for Fairy Vorax, Monkey and Fairy Dragon. It's actually a close call, I would think. Okay, but he goes for that. Alright. Also setting up a potential lethal with Grom and the Fiery Vorax if there is no taunt next turn. So I really like that one. And yeah, probably playing the Monkey, but not the Dragon. But probably hero powering here. Because the Dragon is important to enable your other Dragon cards.
That's true. Blackwing Corruptor, Twilight Guardian, all those cards are, and Alex Straz's Champion. All those are very useful next turn if he needs it.
That's right. Yeah, also being out of cards, so he only has 2 cards left. So hero powering is definitely very, very appealing here.
Yeah, I do like the hero power in this position. What does Xixo need from this spot? I think he needs that Hex. Ooh, does Lightning Bolt help at all?
I think it's pretty over. I mean, he needs to roll this Totem, and then he also needs to address the board, so he needs to do a lot of stuff.
I'm counting how much damage he can do right now with everything, because he has Thunderbolt Valiant, Spirit Claws, and the Lightning Bolt. But he's definitely short here.
It's like 15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to still get through that taunt. Can he at least kill the 9-9? And if he gets the Taunt Totem, does that save him? I think it does.
I mean, if he has 15, then yeah, that should be enough to clear.
You can also trade in Thanos, fish for a Hex,
right?
And then Lightning Bolt 3/4, and then clear the board. That would help him stay the most safe, although he's dead to just Grom to the face.
I mean, he cannot even tank it. He cannot even tank the Monkey, right? So he's just going for this, fishing for the Hex. If he doesn't have a Hex, he probably just... Okay.
Ragnaros. But this means that he's guaranteed dead.
That's right.
And that's going to wrap up the series. StanCifka stays alive, not even needing his Rena Warlock. Being able to kill Shaman. The kill Shaman strategy is still working out.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, really just witnessed a very most insane matchup between 2 of the world's best players, and it was awesome. Yeah, really good gameplay too. Just amazing.
I'm really impressed that this strategy's working out, because I personally don't think that Druid warrants a ban a lot of the times, because I personally think Druid's even sometimes the weakest class that you have in your lineup, sometimes 3rd or 4th best. But choosing instead to go with an alternative strategy and being able to come out on head, it's very impressive. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a genuine surprise for me as well that Dragon Warrior has been performing so well on average at this tournament, with the how popular the more control variants of N'Zoth, Cthulhu have been recently. And then everyone thought, oh, Dragon Warrior is just falling off now. Execute being 2 mana means there's much less chance of using that card for tempo, but it's still getting the work done. And I'm guessing you're taking a lot of the credit for Cifka doing well with Dragon Warrior this tournament.
It's like Life Coach is winning the tournament right now.
He can cast and win at the same time. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's always wanted to do that.
But Cifka's with us now. Congratulations.
Hello.
Another win. You know, how did the series go? Dragon Warrior did pretty well for you there.
Yeah, it was very surprising. Like, it's such a bad deck, and surprisingly, it got
such a bad deck.
Yeah, the Dragon Warrior.
Well, if you
10%, please.
10%.
No.
If you win the tournament, Cifka has to give you 10%.
Yeah, I really need it, like this 10%, I guess.
You can definitely afford to dye your hair blue, though, afterwards.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Yeah, there's some bad going on there.
Yeah.
So you're happy with the Dragon Warrior pick?
Yeah, it was like,
it's
doing
so
slightly
strange.
better than I've expected.
It's so strange to see you play that deck and bring it over, you know, normally bring a little bit more crazy stuff, Dragon Warrior, but it's getting the work done, so it's not too bad. You didn't even need the Reno in that series, right?
Yeah.
So feeling pretty confident. That puts you at, what score is that now?
6-2, so I really need to pick up the win in the last round. So
yeah. I'm sure you got it covered, though. You guys got any questions? Because I think we've got the next series.
How did the other two series that you played off stream, or I mean, you lost one to JJ, but how did that other series go that you lost?
The previous series I've lost to Czech guy, Hawaii Smurf, and he's pretty decent, and he had a rogue and got a coin in all the games and put 12-12 at win and 10-10 at win, so yeah, it's sometimes difficult to deal with, but yeah.
Gotcha, okay, no worries. Well, that's kind of what you do with Rogue in last year's standing, just pray for the coin.
Just get the coin, decide whether you're going to win the game there and then. And that seemed to work out. So yeah, go and let you prepare for your next series, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully you can make it through, and we can see more of this the shaman leaving up strategy. See if that works out. So good luck.
Yeah, I guess you can see it in Pokerback series, which
true. Yeah.